Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday, and thank you for joining me today. And today, my friend and guest is our new executive director at the Holly Hill Chamber of Commerce, Miss Samantha Crouch. How are you?
I'm doing good today. Thank you. How are you doing?
Uh, you know, I I'm delightful.
Yeah. You
Always
just
trying
celebrated
to be
your
delightful.
birthday. You just celebrated a birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you. It was awesome. Um, I it's like my first birthday in a very long time without my twin sister. Thank you, COVID-19.
Mhm.
But overall, it was a great birthday. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Those COVID birthdays. This is going to be a weird year for a lot of people. So I'm glad you're able to get a little bit of celebrating it, but I understand missing family.
I feel like when they do the recap of the year, like birthdays and celebration is going to be like one of the top 20. You know how when they do like the year recap of like special events, there's a lot happening in 2020, but I feel like there will be like a section, hopefully, that just talks about how people celebrated because people have come up with such creative ways to celebrate during this time. So um, it's kind of
Mhm.
cool. It's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
today is the second day back in the office for Miss Samantha. Um, you were out for a little bit. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. 2020 has been quite a year for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, and super excited to be back in the office for a second time. We were back in the office in May, but I unfortunately had an accident and broke my knee, so I've been back out of the office recovering, and I'm super excited to be back in our brick and mortar location and not working from home. While it's been lovely, I'm very happy to be back in our physical business space and to hopefully see some of our faces of our business community.
That's awesome. What does COVID-19 look like for you guys at home? I know you guys were closed for a little bit, like most of us were, right? And then you reopened, but is that homeschooling for you guys? Are your children old enough? Or
So I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and that in itself has been quite the adventure with having a broken knee and limited mobility at home during a pandemic. So it's been interesting to say the least. But my children go to daycare. So daycare closed for about 2 months. So we did have our children home, and my husband and I were both fortunate enough to still be working from home, but trying to do that and full time parent, a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. It definitely had its pluses and its minuses. It was nice to have some more time at home with the kids, but trying to balance mom and job and dad and job and stuff. So we're excited to have a little less chaos in our house and a little more organization of our kids are now back at daycare. My husband and I are both working in an office again. So we're fortunate enough that, during that time we were still working and we were healthy, but we're excited to kind of be moved past those few months. And my daughter starts VPK next month. So I'm also fortunate that at that grade level and at daycares, there's not as much of a disconnect or trying to figure out what to do come August with students going back to school. Daycare remains open. So I'm fortunate again that daycare will be open. She'll be able to start VPK as usual. And I know that's not the case for a lot of moms and dads who are
people?
so excited for kindergartners starting this year or kindergarten graduation and things. So, families have really had it hard during this time. So we've had a lot of great conversations with our members too, who are also parents that were at home and what that looks like. And we only have one computer. So how are my 3 children supposed to learn and who's going to teach them and things like that. So I was also a high school teacher. So my teacher side came out and, so I feel it around from a lot of different angles, but we're here.
Well, tell us a little bit about you prior to taking on this executive director position.
Yeah, so I am a native of Volusia County. I was born and raised here, so I'm a product of our lovely county. I've been all over, so Daytona. I went to school in Ormond Beach. I graduated from Seabreeze High School, so go Sand Crabs. And after high school, I went to Tampa, so go Bulls, USF. And after graduation, I graduated communication degree. And after I graduated, I moved back here to the area. I had met my husband who works under NASCAR. So came back here for my love, but also for the love of where I grew up and just the people that were here in the community that I had here and the relationships I built living here and going to school here. So when I came back home, I started actually my own business doing wedding and event planning. So I still do that on the side. That is my absolute passion. I love to do that, and I'm going to do that forever. So obviously COVID might have other ideas for that, but so when I got back here, I was doing my own wedding and event planning business, and then I had a really unique opportunity to teach at my high school, at Seabreeze High School. So I was a culinary academy instructor at Seabreeze High School. So a few pounds were gained over those few years teaching with the culinary arts, but it was a really unique experience. And I think the statement is so true when people say that they think everybody should be a teacher at some point. It's a very humbling experience, and it's a very just heartwarming experience. And to be shaping young minds and to kind of take your experiences and help the youth figure out what they want to do, where they want to be, and things like that. So after I was done teaching, I went over to Stetson University over on the west side of the county. So I'd been commuting over there for the last few years. And then an opportunity with the chamber came up. And when I made the job switch over to DeLand, what I quickly realized was that I wasn't able to participate in my community here in Daytona and Ormond Beach like I had been. I'm a member of the Junior League of Daytona Beach, and so volunteering is something that means a lot to me. I loved the opportunity to be just down the road and go help out for an hour here, or go do this, or go do that. And being on the west side of the county, I really couldn't do that anymore. So after a few years there, this opportunity came up, and I knew I had to hop on it. The opportunity to be back, one, not only in my community, but literally being here for my community and my business community, and so many of the businesses that I knew personally, that I did business with already, just being here and being immersed and just being that voice and really that connection for the community, the business, which is something that was a no-brainer for me. So I reached out, and the rest is history, and I'm here. So I think the biggest challenge so far has been when I started. So I came in right in February. So I was only here for a few weeks before COVID started. So it's been quite the beginning journey. A lot of businesses were like, oh, we didn't know we had a new director. We've been kind of out of touch. We've been this. And now there's also the pandemic, and trying to just kind of let everybody know that I'm here. And we have a fantastic board who's been just kicking butts and taking names during this pandemic. So we have a great team, and I'm excited to be here. We have a lot of great plans, and be here for a while. So
tell me a little, or tell us a little bit about Holly Hill and the Holly Hill Chamber.
Yes. So the chamber itself started in 1960. So we have a long history with our chamber, and Holly Hill is a very small area. It's much smaller than most people realize. And there's a lot of misconceptions about the area of Holly Hill. And we are working together with our businesses, with the city as the Chamber of Commerce, to really break down those barriers and those walls and make people realize the hidden gem that is Holly Hill. Currently, the chamber is undergoing a rebranding process with yours truly, Carmen, over at FASTSIGNS of Daytona Beach. Yay. So we've been working closely with Carmen and her team for the last few months to really take a deep dive into our Chamber of Commerce. And we've been doing some roundtable conversations with our local business community. And we've been kind of a random selection of members coming in and just asking them, why Holly Hill? What is it that keeps you here? What is it that we need to do to keep you here? Why did you open your business here? Why do you love having a business here? And so forth. And just really taking a deep dive into that business perspective of Holly Hill. And you've been at these conversations, and the feedback has just been mind-blowing, hearing what people have to say about Holly Hill. And I think if I had to boil it all down to one, I think it would be that people don't know how good it is unless they're in it. People who are on the outside have a conception about it, and some people are hesitant and this and that. But once you're in Holly Hill, it rephrases to why not Holly Hill. It has so much to offer, and it's such a gem, and it's such a business-friendly community. And so the chamber, we're working in that direction with our rebranding to really elevate ourselves for our businesses and those that we stand for, and working with the city to do so. I don't know if there were any specific other things that people had said that you wanted to share too from those
Um,
meetings.
it was really that friendly business community, which obviously we were very fortunate to see ourselves. When I first, when we decided to open this store, the store had been here for about 5 years prior to us opening, taking it over. And we rebranded our store as Fast Signs of Daytona Beach because the majority of our territory was Daytona Beach. So obviously being in Holly Hill, people would say, but you're in Holly Hill. And I was like, I don't know anything about Holly Hill. I don't know what you're talking about. So we were not members of the Chamber of Commerce when I first came on board. But we finally joined the Holly Hill Chamber of Commerce, got to know some of those businesses inside the Holly Hill area, got to have some conversations with some people that were very vested in Holly Hill. And I'm like, this is exactly like the community that I come from in Apopka, where it's a small bedside community with really strong businesses that have been in business for a long time and people that really care about the community. And to me, and what I think resonated the most is that makes a very strong foundation. When your community supports you, that's huge. It's not just opening a business in Holly Hill. I feel like everyone is vested in the future of Holly Hill, that is vested in Holly Hill. So it's nice. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody around the table had positive things to say, things that I had not heard about Holly Hill. So obviously opening a business here and having the perceptions that we even had, which I was honest about when you and I met, I was thrilled to have those conversations because I was like, I really don't want to move my location. I love where we're at. I love the plaza that we're in. It's very clean. It's very neat. And I love this community now that we've been invested in the last year. I can't imagine leaving it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't leave Holly Hill. I had one of the city commissioners asked me during a meeting, what do we have to do to keep you here? I was like, I'm here. I'm not leaving, because we do feel vested now. And I don't think it's that hard. So a lot of times people come into a small community and they're like, oh, I don't know if I fit in. And I tell people I'm different from everyone. So if I fit in, you can fit in. But no, everybody's been super welcoming. I can't say enough. And I've really enjoyed, even though you have only been there since February, you and I have talked at length, even prior to deciding to do this rebrand. And I've really enjoyed that process with you. So I think I lost her.
Yeah.
No, you are. I lost you there for a second. Sorry.
Nope. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you now.
It's super important too. Our size is our strength. While we are small, we are very mighty. And our businesses show that, our community shows that. And a lot of what we hear too from our different members, because we're in Holly Hill, so I'm going to quote our mayor on this one, Chris Villa, because it's such a great way to put it, but we're the heart of the Tri-City. So a lot of our business members here for our Chamber of Commerce who have a brick and mortar location here in Holly Hill are also members of Ormond Beach or Daytona Beach or both. It just is their business to be members across a lot of different chambers, which is absolutely fine. And what we hear a lot from certain members who do have dual membership is, well, Ormond Beach does this, or Daytona Beach does this, and so forth. And we've really pivoted those conversations to be, well, Holly Hill does this. We aren't Ormond and we aren't Daytona, and no chamber is alike. So what works well with one chamber in one area doesn't work with every chamber. So if you've been a member of one chamber, you have not been a member of them all. They're all different. We're all unique, and we all offer what is unique to our members in our community. And I think it's really important that with this rebranding process, we're bringing new opportunities that I can't go into too much detail yet because we haven't done the official reveal, but opportunities that are unique to Holly Hill. We're not Ormond, we're not Daytona. So when members come to us and say, well, let's do this like so-and-so, let's do this like so-and-so, we're really just changing that conversation to, well, we're going to do it like us because we're Holly Hill, we're small, we're mighty, and this is how we do it. And it's successful, and we're so excited. We cannot wait to reveal all the new details and what that brand refresh looks like and so forth. So thank you for helping us complete that mission. So that's really been the big project since I've started, is really just the rebrand and getting to know the membership and finding out, as business owners in Holly Hill, why they're here, why they've stayed, how they're going to continue to stay, and filtering that into our chamber and what we do for our community.
When you first came on board in February, did you have an idea of what your personal vision was going to be for Holly Hill, and has that changed at all after this COVID-19?
It's been more so a learning process. So my predecessors were Rosie Shoemaker and Alice Pritchard, and both were here for a very long time. And they have built such a strong foundation for our Chamber of Commerce. They stuck it out through multiple moves throughout the community, different changes in board, just different things that chambers of commerce weather. And they have built such a great foundation. And we've really been taking what they brought to the table and the things they've implemented and their projects and seeing them through and really fulfilling that vision. So a lot of what we're doing right now is still working with some of our principals and our foundations just to get our membership on board with some new things that have happened over the last few years, and then really growing from there. COVID has put a little bit of a situation into it. I think more so personally, I think my broken knee has put more of a damper on some of our plans, 2020. But other than that, not too much. Because we're small, we've had the ability to really have those one-on-one phone calls. And what better time than during COVID when everybody is at home or, limited, can't go out. So we're not, I'm at the beach, I can't get a hold of you. You're at home, let's chat. So if anything, I think it's really fostered our ability to have those one-on-one conversations with our businesses and their employees, just to really learn about them, the community we're in, and where we're going from here.
I know you guys are putting out that executive letter every week, and I know that you guys are working with the Volusia Chamber Alliance and really pushing those PPP efforts, personal protection equipment, and opening businesses safely. And so talk to me a little bit about what the Alliance is doing. I know that last week was kind of like the week, right? Kind of walk us through what that effort looked like, how, yeah.
So the effort really started back in May when we had Helga Van Eckert from Volusia County join our Volusia Alliance meetings, and she brought to the table that the county, through the CARES Act funding, would supply kits for our Volusia County businesses. And that is where they then came to the chambers and said, we need your help executing this. How do we do this? How do we get this to our businesses? What's the best way to go about it as far as information, the physical products, the organization? The next step, they brought it to us. They had the idea and they needed the assistance with the execution of it. And there's no better way to do that than through your local chambers of commerce. So from there, it just became a planning process of trying to figure out for different communities in Volusia, how many kits would we need, organizing those efforts. So once supplies came in, we started the Chamber Alliance itself reached out for volunteers to meet us at the Ocean Center to assemble kits. And I believe, were you there helping assisting with assembling kits?
I was not at the Ocean Center, no.
Okay. I unfortunately was not either because of my knee, but from what I heard in the pictures and the conversations we've had, it was quite the effort to put these kits together. They were money items. They had a great assembly line set up. It took a full day and a few hours the next morning to complete it. And in total, they made 3,500 kits. So kudos to all of the volunteers for all the chambers that came in to help put all that stuff together. And a big shout out to the other chamber executives that really stepped up and made that the priority over the last few weeks to get that done and get volunteers and organized. And the transfer of 3,500 PPE kits to our respective distribution sites. There was a lot that went into this. So it really was a community effort. Last week was the distribution week. So each day of the week, there was a different distribution site open from 9 to 4, and businesses could come by and receive 1 or 2 kits. And I think the important thing here to realize too is that Chambers of Commerce, while we have members, we support all businesses. So especially during COVID-19, there hasn't been an exclusive, we communicate with just our business members that are part of the chamber and things like that. Volusia County as a whole and all of our businesses, whether they're our chamber or not, are important to us and are important to everybody's overall success. So it's been a lot of reaching out to even businesses that aren't our direct members, but saying, hey, we're here to support you still. Here's what you need. Go do this. Let us know if you have any questions. Here's the details. And I think that also reflects back to when the relaunch Volusia grants opened up for our small businesses. The Holly Hill Police Department actually printed out flyers and just went door to door of businesses here in Holly Hill and just handed out flyers. So in addition to hearing about it through different media sources, even just the Holly Hill Police Department was just door to door with our businesses. And I think that really shows a lot for Holly Hill and our community. And from the chamber side, it's not just about just our members, it's about all of our businesses. But the PPE distribution, again, open to every Volusia County business. So there was a lot of effort that went into making sure that all the businesses in Volusia County knew about this opportunity. It wasn't something just for our members. So the week went really well, and I'm excited to let you guys know that because there was such a high demand and all these sites were out of kits by about, give or take, 1 or 2 o'clock. There is going to be a second distribution date. So we're excited about that. Yay! Due to the high demand. So I don't have that date yet, but we will definitely have a second distribution date sooner than later. So you'll be hearing that information from your chambers of commerce, and we'll get some more supplies out to our businesses in need. So
that's awesome. You said 2 things. I was shocked because I had already filled out my application for the relaunch grant just because I'm so active. I know everything that's going on. But, so like 2 days later, this police officer comes to the front, and I mean, I don't really have a reason to have police officers at my center, just saying. And, he was so sweet. He was like, hey, listen, just want to make sure that you guys know about the program. You have any questions? Like, he was so thorough, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what other cities doing that? Like, who else has their police department, meeting with like bringing that information to business owners?
Yeah.
It doesn't just serve one purpose. That also gives you one-on-one time with the police officers in your community, and I think that helps break a barrier considering everything that's happening in our country. But that's so I thought that was whoever thought that was a good idea, it was great. I thought that was awesome. So it's cool to see our police officers in the community doing that.
Yeah.
And it shows that our city is on it. They want us to succeed. Another reason why doing business in Holly Hill and staying in Holly Hill is important. So again, I everything I think about Holly Hill, and most people know I now say it out loud because now my perception has changed. I realize what it is to really be inside the city. Holly Hill proud. Right. So, and then the other thing you were talking about, the PPP effort, and to me, the importance of a Volusia County alliance of chambers. I mean, that's huge from so many standpoints. I mean, I know that alliance is doing a lot of things, but being able to do that together, I mean, I think that's really impactful. And like you said, they're not just worried about the Chamber of Commerce members. It really was open to all businesses, and they were promoting it that way. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and we play well together. All of the executives at all the chambers that are part of that alliance, it's about teamwork. And at the end of the day, we all want Volusia County to be successful and to be the best of the best. And that really takes all of us working together. And like I said, because we're such a close-knit just county in general, we have so many overlaps in membership. I don't think people realize how many businesses are members of all the multiple chambers. And we work so hard together to really just support and be there for each other. When one's successful, the other one is as well. So I think that's really important that people know, and that, there's transparency between our chambers, between all of us here in the county, and we are one Volusia at the end of the day. So, yeah.
No, and I really think, from a chamber perspective, I was a part of the regional chamber first, and I sit on that board. But I think it's really important that small businesses that are inside of these separate municipalities, Ormond Beach, Holly Hill, Port Orange, really help those chambers, because what they do are two totally different things.
Yep.
So I think it's, while the regional chamber is very important, it's something that I'm very active in, it's been very successful for my business. I think it's also very important to continue to stay involved with Holly Hill. And then if you're in the Ormond area, with Ormond Beach, with Port Orange, I think it's just that they serve two totally different purposes.
Yeah.
And coming from the Central Florida area, I've seen on many agendas, trying to make these efforts of Chamber of Commerce working in unison, and people are still having that conversation. And so for Volusia County to do it and do it so well, it's exceptional. It's kudos to our county, to our individual Chamber of Commerce that are able to sit together and really work on behalf of the business community, aside from personal agendas, because each organization has an agenda and a vision and a mission, right? So that's great that you guys are working together. And I know it's just your first couple of months, but I can't imagine that it's been nothing but amazing.
Yes.
So.
Nope. Absolutely.
How do you see, I mean, I think when we first talked, because we had a couple of things planned, we were thinking, oh, July, we're thinking August for a business after hours, for this, for that. And even from a franchise perspective, when we were talking about, cash is king and preparing our budgets, we were really looking for August. Like, we were saying, hey, we really think July and August. And now, come June, our conversations changed. We're really thinking it's going to be January before we're even in a room with 500 people again, or 100 people again.
Yep.
So how do you think that we continue to develop business relationships with social distancing being implemented globally? Is it smaller gatherings? Is it still this way, or are you having conversations of how to bring people together and continue to build business outside of the traditional?
Absolutely. So what I'm kind of feeling, having these conversations with our members, and also just between our getting information from the Florida Chamber of Commerce and so forth, we really think that hybrid opportunities are going to be the way to go moving forward until there's more certainty, whatever that may be, whenever that may be, whether that's for some people, the certainty is a vaccine, whatever that looks like for you as a person feeling safe moving forward, whether it's now or not now. So I think hybrid opportunities is going to be the way to go. And when I say that, I mean, if a yoga studio still wants to offer their classes, but they're still trying to build their membership and reach people, some people are going to say, I don't want to stay at home and do yoga class. I want to come in. Why can't I come in? So trying to cater to really both sides of kind of the spectrum we're finding ourselves at right now. And for a business to say, okay, we're going to offer our yoga class, but we're going to social distance here. We can only let 6 people in, and they're going to be spread out. They need to wear masks for the class. But that class is also going to be live streamed to then cater to those who don't feel comfortable fully coming out yet, even if social distancing guidelines is being enforced. So I really think as a business owner, needing to pivot and really offer a hybrid opportunity. So you see that a lot since the beginning with our restaurants offering delivery, curbside, and so forth. So while they might not be able to have as many people inside, they were able to still kind of offer that opportunity. But when it comes to really in-person building those relationships, technology has become, I think, more important than ever in the last few months. And I think we're all almost kind of acquainted with Zoom meetings and how to deal with Zoom bombers. And despite what platform you use, I think this is kind of the new normal. But I think we're able to introduce a hybrid opportunity where if social distancing guidelines are being followed, let's have a few people come out, those that want to be there for that in person, and then those that feel more comfortable still getting to participate, but it's still something offered where they can do it from the safety of their home. So we were supposed to have our quarterly breakfast this month. We moved forward with planning it back in May. And again, in May, we didn't know what was going to be coming in June or now July. So we have decided to go ahead. We're actually going to be just canceling that event altogether. We discussed the hybrid opportunity of having just a few people come out, but also offering it as a live stream opportunity, kind of like what we did with your ribbon cutting ceremony that we just did for you, where we kind of had it set up with a live stream. Special Event Services did that for us and set up a really great platform, and we had a lot of great response from it. So whether you're still moving forward with your in-person breakfast or events, so you still have some of that hugging and maybe, well, not hugging, but we're huggers, but air hugs, but safe social distancing, and still offering that opportunity for those that are not going to be able to come out for multiple reasons, that they can still participate. And I think that's really key moving forward, is thinking in a hybrid perspective, how you can cater to both audiences at the same time. And we have the technology platforms now to do so. It's just a matter of talking with other businesses and seeing what you can do for each other to offer opportunities.
Are there any events that currently we're still looking at, hey, we still think that there is going to be a golf tournament or put on by the Holly Hill Chamber as of right now?
Yeah, as of right now. So right now we have nixed all of our July in-person events. We're moving them forward into the fall. So right now what we do is on the fourth Thursday of each month, we do an after-hours event. Those are typically smaller gatherings at local businesses. So they're not usually large crowds that we're concerned with. It's more of an intimate gathering. But then there comes the issue of food and things like that. So we've talked to our businesses who are on the calendar for the rest of the month, and they feel comfortable with going ahead and keeping that date and kind of moving forward as is, and having that conversation of, do we have just a few people, come out in person, and do we cut it or things like that? Or do we use Zoom and maybe have it a roundtable opportunity and make sure that as the host, you get to go to each chat room and have that conversation. It's as much of an opportunity to chat with other members as it is to learn about that business. So again, kind of making it that hybrid or virtual opportunity. We definitely are still on the calendar for our golf tournament in September. So we're super excited about that. We've had a great response, and the Ormond Beach Chamber of Commerce just had theirs as well. So they had a great turnout, and it's a little bit of a different situation when you're outside. So what we're looking at, we're still within safety parameters and precautions in place. And as we get closer, we'll have a better idea of anything new that might come up that we might need to adjust. But right now we do have our golf tournament on, and again, a lot of people are excited to be able to get out and do something. So that is definitely still on the calendar. And again, for each month, we still have our after hours on the calendar. And as we get closer, we're determining what kind of format we move that into.
So who's our business after hours for August? Is that the distillery?
August is Liberty Tax.
Okay, Liberty Tax. Okay, gotcha.
Is tomorrow's the tax deadline, right? The 15th?
15th, yeah.
So after tomorrow, our Liberty Tax, Troy Thomas is one of our board members. So he's going to be hosting, and we'll be chatting with him as we get closer, kind of what that format will look like. So, and he'll have a little more time on his hands, hopefully after tomorrow.
Let's hope so. Poor guy. With all these
people who haven't filed yet, this is your final, reminder.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's your last day. At least file an extension tomorrow, okay?
Yes.
I was so blessed. I did all my stuff really early. So I'm good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Any professional or personal lessons that you feel like were like your COVID-19 lessons?
Personally, I think I would have to say, and this is going super personal, but I miss being able to say yes to my daughter. Yeah. So, being home, she's 4. So, and us being home together and in close quarters and trying to work and parent, and, it's all into one. You take advantage of being able to say yes. So, all day she's, can we go to the park? No, we can't go to the park. I really want to go to Disney. Can we go to Disney? No, I'm sorry, we can't go to Disney. And it's, from a parent's perspective, you see so much from the eyes, like your kid's eyes, and taking advantage of the fact that, before March 12th, yes, going to the park, not a problem. Hop in the car, let's go. But now, if we want to go to the park, it's like, we have enough hand sanitizer. I want you to wear a mask. I want you, it's a different world. And I think on a personal level, you take advantage of little things, and I miss being able to say yes to everything. So I still, I think the only thing I'm happy to be saying no to is Chuck E. Cheese. Nothing against Chuck E. Cheese. Just as a mom, there's a lot of kids. I can't find one. I don't know where she went. There's a lot of movement. So I think that's my only no that I was excited to still be rolling over. But yeah, I miss being able to say yes and kind of live by the moment. And sure, you know what? Yeah, let's go to Disney, or yeah, let's go do this. Yes, let's go do that. And having to say no, kind of see that disappointment and trying to explain to her and, as much as you can to a 4-year-old. So I think personally
It's
that
very
I would say,
interesting. It's very
mm-hmm.
interesting how children see this pandemic. I don't have any children, but I have 6 nieces, and they're all over the state. So we've not seen each other since all of this started, which is a long time for me. But one of my youngest nieces is, sleeping in grandma's bed, up early, kind of, scared about the mask. I mean, she's really adjusting.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so smart, and she's like not understanding, like, when she goes out, like, why the world is doing everything so different. She's like, oh, that person's not wearing a mask, and she's got to wear a mask, and then she can't see her grandparents, or she can't see her tati or whatever, and she's just like, it's just interesting how kids are kind of
Mm-hmm.
going through that so differently than we are, like in the most purest way, which is,
Yep.
I feel like if we could all see the world from your children's perspective, like, just don't say anything and just let them talk and ask them how they're seeing the situation. In a couple of months, you could be in a better place.
Yep. And daycare does a great job of explaining to them and showing them different videos and talking about germs and using the terms coronavirus and COVID. I mean, she's 4. She gets it, but she doesn't, but she does. And I mean, it's just, again, from a perspective, she comes to you and says, I promise I'll wear my mask, if we can go to Disney World, I really miss Mickey Mouse, and I promise I'll be good and wear a mask. They internalize, and when you're so caught up, especially with that time being home and trying to manage being a parent and working in a professional life, I think a lot of children, and talking from other parents, it's been really hard. And this is such a weird thing to try and teach that age. And, for me growing up, the big thing for me was September 11th. I was 11 years old. I remember the day, and I remember my life before September 11th, and I remember my life after September 11th. And to now be a parent and have a child's, I don't know if she's going to remember how much she'll remember it for. I can't think of what I remember at age 4, but, on the personal scale, there's just a lot from a parent side perspective and explaining things to my kids, and I miss saying yes. So, can we go get ice cream? Yes. Now it's like, no, we're not. And they never got to leave the house. Like they go to daycare. So.
Yeah, I know. And like, through all these conversations, because obviously I don't have children, so people have like this misconception that I don't like kids because I don't have kids, right? And I have like 2 very calm dogs. So people are like, who does not like kids? But I just want to go play with people's kids. Like, I'm like, listen, I've got nothing to do. I'll come over. I'll read them a storybook. I'll play with them because I miss my nieces so much. And because I realize that everybody's kind of in the same situation. I mean, we kind of are, right? Like, my life is totally different right now than it was before COVID-19, which, so. Well, Miss Samantha, is there anything else Holly Hill related that you would like for people to know about the chamber, about Holly Hill, the opportunity to join? Like, where are you guys located?
Yeah, so we are located at 1066 Ridgewood Avenue. So we're actually directly across from City Hall on Ridgewood. So if you've driven down Ridgewood through Holly Hill, you hopefully have not missed the brand new Daytona facility that is now up, and they're going to be doing their grand opening soon. They have some of the pickleball courts are up and running. So they've been busy getting everything ready over there, and they've actually been sharing our office space for the last few months. So we've been working closely with Daytona and helping them out, and super excited to have a great relationship with them. But we're right across the street from City Hall. So parking, you actually park in the Daytona area, and then you come into our building. So since the construction had started, the chamber was a hard spot to get to, but we're excited that now we have some parking and we can start welcoming some of our members back in and following social distance guidelines. Like we said at the beginning, it's now my second day back in the office. So anybody's welcome to stop in and chit chat. We have members picking things up and so forth. So we're here. We're following social distance guidelines, and we're just working for our business community and working hard to get them what they need and be their resource and be their problem solver and help them connect the dots and support them. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I am hoping that during this time, people really stop and look at how they can get involved in their local community. So I have so many friends that own businesses in Holly Hill that are not yet members, and I keep telling them it's time to join. So if you're a friend of mine, you're in the Holly Hill area or right on the outskirts of it, I think it's really important to support our local chamber. So I invite you to drop by, have a conversation, send an email. That's how our conversation started, and I think it's gone very well. So we're pleased to get to be a part of what the next chapter of our Holly Hill Chamber looks like. And we're very excited to get to work on that project with you and see it come to fruition with you. So thank you so much for giving us that opportunity.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you
Absolutely.
guys as a member. And we're here, and we've had a lot of businesses actually join during COVID, so we're excited to be welcoming and seeing those new businesses still coming to the area, even with everything going on and reaching out and stuff. So Holly Hill's growing, the chamber's growing, and if you have any questions, let us know, and we're here for you. So Holly Hill.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Samantha, so much. Yeah. I appreciate your time. I hope that you get better. Sure. I hope that next time we see each other is face to face and with some of our fellow colleagues, and we are celebrating wins and just sharing, hopefully, lots of good stories of how we can get each other through the rest of what is this global pandemic. So I really just appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you. And again, happy belated birthday, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.